Okay, so this is an overview for the week of May 24th through May 30th for each of the birthdays. I did pull cards for just kind of a general idea of what the tone of the week might be. And we have going with the flow, receptivity, and guilt. And these all talk about being in the moment and releasing and just allowing things to be what they are. Guilt talks about, because the first two cards are more positive, guilt talks about how we can get caught up in our thoughts and our perceptions and the illusions of the things around us, and we feel guilty about everything we do. Yet when we are fully present in the moment, and we do things with intention, and we follow our inner guidance, which is exactly what receptivity and going with the flow is. Receptivity is also about being fully present for someone else. And if we're not, obviously that can trigger guilt, fighting against ourselves, in our desires or in the moment or whatever is going on around us, and not just allowing it to be and trying to resist. All of these things can create guilt. So this is something to watch out for. I feel like to really pay attention to being present and being in the moment, and just not getting too attached to outcomes and results. That's what often causes a lot of stress and anxiety. So what I have is, I have what is visible, what is going to be visible to you throughout the whole week, for each day of the week. So it's basically like one set per day. And then what is not seen, what is going to show up as a possible subconscious cause for whatever the experience might be in that day. So these can apply to anyone whose birthdays are May 23rd through the 30th. So they can apply to each day. There might be some that apply to you on the corresponding day. They could be interchanged, or it could be you only experience the one on your birthday. It could be none. Energy is fluid, so your choices and decisions obviously can influence. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is for Sunday, the 23rd. So the obvious energy is, what will be known is this Ace of Swords reversed, which, speaks of either somebody not living in their truth, not telling the truth, being stuck, anxious, having no idea what they want to do next. Swords are about communication, ideas, and moving into new projects and whatnot. The hidden energy, what's not seen, is the Six of Cups, which talks about something from the past. It's got, two children on it. So this refers to something in the past, something emotional, something we are attached to. So I feel like the energy I'm getting off of this is regret. Somebody not telling or living in their truth. Somebody not moving forward with themselves the way that they reflect back on now and wish that they had. So Sunday, people who are on Sunday, if you are experiencing regret, it could be due to a past connection that did not go quite the way you wanted it to. And again, these cards here are all about being in the moment, not getting stuck in the past and not projecting into the future. Otherwise, then we have these things like regret, which cause sadness and anxiety, and we have enough of that in the present. So for Monday, we have the Two of Wands. Now, something I never noticed. I did pre-pull these cards to just kind of get the reading going, because it's a little bit different than the daily. This wand here is kind of cut off, the one he's holding. This one is sort of bound to the wall. So, I've always seen the Two of Wands as kind of a positive stability card. And after really picking up the energy from it this time, that's not what I'm getting. I'm actually getting kind of a misplaced sense of stability, where the perception is the stability might be found in the one that he's holding, almost like a staff, but it's broken. And the other one's tied up. And he's holding this globe and looking out over this palisade, castle wall, whatever, kind of looks like. Almost like it's I have the world in my hand, but I'm still looking for something more. Like and I'm not quite, I don't have quite what I want. I don't have the full stuff here, and the other one's bound up over here. It's not really as positive of an energy that I've typically gotten from the Two of Wands. What's hidden under that is the Seven of Coins. Now, Seven of Coins can mean a lot of different things. In this particular deck, this is about creativity, ingenuity, problem solving in unusual ways. Let's see if you guys can see that. You can see there's a bunch of youth, and they're getting these apple trees. They're getting these apple trees, and they're like daisy chaining themselves to get to it. There's no ladder, so they have to somehow figure out how they're going to get all these apples down for everyone and share it. And I kind of feel like this is sort of the Two of Wands is sort of an opposing to sharing. Like, I'm not sure that I have what I want in order to share. You don't see anyone else in this card. It's not there's nothing to indicate any kind of, it's more like wishful. So I feel like the message here might be that, especially with the COVID, it would make sense for Monday, that there's this perception that, things aren't quite what they seem. Like, it might look like you have everything, but you're really missing this sort of very collaborative, very creative team effort. So maybe you're missing work a whole lot. And this is what you're missing about, is this sense of community and joining and working together. So if that's the case for you on Monday, and you are one of the people who's been hit without employment, get out, go to a park, call a friend that you know is safe. I mean, we can get together with people. We just have to be careful and be diligent and safe. But if what's being truly missed is due to this lack of contact and community and working together and doing something fun and creative and useful and functional. You're feeling kind of isolated and stuck and wishing and not really feeling gratified with what's right in front of you, then there are things you can do to help yourself. And if you're feeling pretty down, definitely give somebody a call. Go to a park. Again, just use your precautions, but get out there. Do something. For Tuesday, we have the Page of Cups, which is a very youthful energy, bringing in, some sort of emotional gift, presenting with an offer. It could be somebody that's younger or immature. It could even be a child, maybe your children. Now, this could follow on the heels of Monday if you're feeling very down, because then there's the Eight of Cups, which talks about walking away, leaving something behind, not giving it your full attention. And you see these other people here, these other women, grasping at her feet and ankles, desperately trying to hold on, pull her back down, and she's rising. And it almost looks like she's floating in water. It looks like they're all floating in water, of course, because it's cups. And they are trying to pull her back down. Now, in this imagery, it almost looks like they're trying to pull her down to drown her. So maybe there's a sense of feeling overwhelmed. Maybe there is this youthful offering, or perhaps it is children at home, and you're feeling burdened, and you kind of just want to break, want to get away from it, because you know they love you. And it can be it can very much have this kind of overwhelming sensation, especially if you've had a day where you're feeling pretty isolated and alone and not a whole lot of reliable support. That can definitely be a challenge. I would encourage going back to this creative collaboration. If these are children that are just kind of driving you crazy with being schooled at home or what have you, and you're feeling just a little overwhelmed and burdened, I'm telling you, go get a game of Twister. They'll be occupied for hours, and you'll be able to get that break. And it'll give them something productive and movement-oriented to do. If it's nice weather, set it out in whatever level of yard you might have, or front porch, back porch, and play some Twister and go have yourself a glass of wine, assuming you're over the age of 21. So we're on Tuesday and Wednesday. Rejection, isolation, being put out in the cold, left behind, paired with the Tower card. So for some of you, unfortunately, this could mean an actual literal breakup, a literal separation. It could be any kind of relationship. It could be, you've worked up until this point, being Pentacles, and things just have run dry, and so you're let go. This is one of those go with the flow moments, for sure. If this is a relationship, like a intimate relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be, it's still the same thing, going with the flow. And, this situation with people being so closed in or being separated as we can be, And obviously there is a lot of isolation sort of feeling. These things are going to happen, but rest assured that no matter what kind of ending this is, even if it comes as a surprise, trust that regardless of what it is or what it's about, things will get better. It will serve you in the long run. These things happen even though we might ask ourselves why. And we may not understand what happened. We may not have all the answers. We may not get closure. There's always a reason. And a lot of times it's a lesson. A lot of times it's a lesson for us because we chose a situation that wasn't really in our best interest. And it's time for that to go and to grow and move into something better. So they're painful. That's not to diminish that they're painful and they're difficult and they're challenging. Do not turn this guilt inward. Okay? Because whatever it is, it's meant to have happened. And if it's meant to come back around, it might. But in the meantime, it is what it is. And take whatever opportunity you can from it to learn and to grow and to become your best self from that point. I keep losing my place. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is Thursday. Six of Cups reversed. Hangman reversed. These are such beautiful cards. I love these. They're so different. Hangman is usually, the guy that's hanging upside down from the tree. I'm going to actually turn this around so you can see. It is actually like it almost looks like a fairy walking across a tightrope. There's a spider web net down here. And there's I think it's like I'm not sure what it is. There's some kind of little critter over here. There's a violin over here. And obviously, this fairy type creature is kind of headed somewhere. But she does have the net under her, for safety. But it did come out in reverse. So externally, you may be leaving some past connection behind, releasing, letting go. It could even be something within, but it's going to have something to do with, it's going to be an emotional connection. Even if it's an inner emotion of your own, even though this is an outward expression, I would propose you're actually leaving something behind, something that no longer fit. And there is really, there's not much interest in taking a chance on it again. You've released this thing and the situation, circumstance, relationship. And, there's a net in the picture, but it's reversed. So taking that chance just may not be what's best for you. And if it is actually having let go of something from the past and moving, and there's something new coming in, pay attention to how you're feeling about it. And if you are not willing to take a chance on something new, maybe really go within and figure out within yourself the reason. What is the reason that you're not willing to take this chance? If that's the case. There's only two cards here, so I can't tell you if there's something new coming in or not. followed up after this releasing of something old. And we'll find out in the week if everything resonates and nothing changes by the time we get to Thursday. We'll delve more into that. The energy could change. So, these aren't solid predictions because things do change. So what comes up for Thursday could actually be something very different. Queen of Swords. All right, Friday people, somebody is cranky. Somebody is cranky, does not want to communicate. Really is probably feeling pretty powerful, but not in the best kind of way. And what's interesting is I asked for what was in the subconscious. And what comes out with the Moon card. Now, this Moon card is very, very interesting. All these cards are very interesting. If you look very, very carefully, if you guys can see it, at the bottom of the Moon card, there are these almost hidden images of demons. They look like demons or dragons, something that might be perceived as a little bit frightening on the horizon of this night environment. So if you are feeling very out of sorts and like you really just want to cut people's heads off, what this says is that there's things you are not looking at within yourself. There are hidden fears to pay attention to. And to look into. Receptivity is about really, really listening, about losing your sense of self in order to care for others and really not have any ego. For this particular day, for this type of energy, I would actually encourage that receptivity to be directed inward, to release the ego, to release this I need to be in control of everything. I am, the bag of chips and all that. Kind of an old phrase at this point, but if it fits. And do a little examining within. Because basically what's happening is these demons are coming out in this form, and it is being directed externally at those around you. And you are going to create some pretty unhappy situations and circumstances for yourself. And I would not be surprised if some of those demons in there are exactly this. Maybe there's been other situations where, I'm getting the message, there have been other situations. This is an ongoing pattern for somebody. This is for Saturday the 29th. Or Friday the 29th. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday the 29th. Somebody this is a typical behavior for them. This is a very almost haughty, I'm more important than you, ego type of energy. And every time this happens, maybe not every time, but often enough, what's happened with this energy is it's created a collapse around this person, which then just builds up on these inner demons and feeds them and makes them stronger. So the next time it might be a little bit worse and a little bit worse and a little bit worse. Whoever this is for that has this pattern of behavior, you need to do some work. This is not a happy energy. This is not a fulfilling energy. This is not a blissful energy. This is not an abundant energy. And when you continue to destroy the things that you actually care about around you because of these hidden shadows and fears and insecurities and whatever else it is that's in there, you're going to keep yourself in this place indefinitely until you do that work. So if you want the kind of energy that Saturday is going to get, the Sun card, happiest card in the deck. So this is what is on the outside. An Eight of Wands reversed. Eight of Wands is conflict. It's a conflict card. How one interprets it, they're all different. But it's generally kind of a it's kind of a being left to stand on your own, to fight on your own. But because it's reversed, that means it's a release. It's a you are basically living in this going with the flow and receptivity. You are being in the moment. You are letting whatever it is, it's coming in. You're just letting it go. You're letting it roll off, roll out, so you can have this wonderful, happy day for yourself, which is great. It's awesome. And in case anybody's wondering, and it's not obvious enough, I don't do zodiacs because, for example, these are May birthdays. May 22nd through the, or 24th through the 30th. Oh my gosh. 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. Yes, 30th. I apparently can't count. My sun card is Leo, which is in late July, August. So, obviously it does not make sense to deal with zodiacs. Just as an example. I know a lot of other readers do. So hopefully this is, again, just an overview for the week. Sunday through Saturday, the 30th of May. And I will continue to catch up on the daily readings. And hopefully this helps. And if there's an energy here on your particular day, or an energy here for any of them, actually, that you are not real thrilled with, you have a heads up to look out for it, to have some understanding of what's underlying it. So that empowers you to make decisions to point you in the direction that you would rather go in, which is one of the reasons I do these. So that if there is something showing up in the energy at this particular point in time, that you're not wanting these external outcomes, which are never guaranteed anyway. But you now have the opportunity to take action. Now, it's possible, of course, that some of these things are divinely guided. The sun is a major arcana, for example. So, and anything with a Roman numeral is divinely guided. So with these being the hidden energies, the universe is really pushing for some people later in the week to do some inner healing. But most of these are pretty much just in the moment. This is what the energies are gearing towards or headed towards. And it could be, choose your actions carefully, because overthinking or over striving to change an outcome can actually put you into that outcome instead. So be careful with anything dealing with future. You don't know necessarily like what comes up on Saturday. There's no knowing what occurred specifically for this individual prior to. So, whatever occurred, if you change the things that move up to Saturday, could change the outcome. If you're trying to keep the outcome, so you really just kind of very much want to be in this going with the flow as much as you possibly can. But like I said, it also gives you the opportunity to intercept some things like, this loss, breakup, whatever this is that's showing up, perhaps it's the same person that's feeling this regret. Maybe they've been in this relationship with their childhood sweetheart or whatever, and on Sunday, there's a regret about some action or behavior that happened prior, and that's what leads to this breakup. Well, then sit down and communicate about it. Have a conversation. If it's a relationship that you actually value, then it's worth opening the door and seeing what's going on. So hopefully that helps you. There are going to be no oracles this time because it's such a large collective for the week, and it could go so many different directions. I feel like that would just sort of confuse things. And other than that, hopefully you all have a wonderful week, that you do get the outcomes that you desire, and that you are able to manifest the changes that you wish throughout the course of it with a little heads up. In the meantime, rest assured, you are loved unconditionally, always, and you are blessed, no matter what, even as a Queen of Swords. Take care.